bring her up. Where did you go? Camille, Miss Camille. We're ready to start this presentation. We welcome you, and go ahead and come on down and make your way up here. Find a seat for this, our first panel discussion of the festival.
Ganachish, Anyatkusani. Ayahat duak sauk, Sistan Kla Ayahat. Thank you for joining us and learning today. I'd like to cordially welcome all of you to come down and join us as we are introduced to the wonderful, wonderful topic of tourism in Packerland and Indian Territory. I actually had to confer and make sure that Packerland meant Green Bay. Go Hawks. Just kidding, just kidding. I give you trouble here. First of all, I'd like to introduce, kind of let you know a little bit about what we're going to do here. I'm going to introduce our lovely panel right here, and they will come up and tell a little bit about themselves. And then we'll have the opportunity for me and you all to ask a few questions. So I'd like to introduce Kyle Wisneski. He is he actually works for the Oneida Nation's agricultural site supervisor and a co-founder of the Midwest Indigenous Seed Keepers Network. Next to him, we have Cheryl Trask of the Cherokee Nation's Tourism. She is the Senior Marketing and Operations Manager for the Cherokee Nation's Cultural Tourism in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Next to her is Gilbert Johnston. He's from the Quapaw Tribe of Oklahoma, the Horticultural Department Manager at the Downtown Casino Resort in Quapaw, Oklahoma. So with that, I'd like to welcome you, and one at a time, you will be hearing from them. So, welcome.
Good day. Segu segway, dek kaliwat, anyote aga. Greetings, good afternoon. My name is Two Matters Connected in our Oneida language. My English name is Kyle Wisneski. And I represent the Wolf Clan of the people of the Standing Stone. As you might know, the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin. So I am the, as you heard, I am the site supervisor at Jonhequa. It's in our Oneida language, it means life sustenance. It is a 83-acre certified organic farm that pairs traditional and sustainable agricultural methods to create a unique learning environment as well as a model for healthy living. So I do lead our horticultural department at Jonhequa. We hold 15 different workshops throughout the year. One of the workshops that I would like to highlight would be our annual seed and plant distribution. We target 200 families around our community, around the Oneida Nations community. We offer seeds and plants that we grow on farm. They're all certified organic and as well as indigenous to our community. We offer that for a very modest price. We will also come to your house, design your garden, help you weed sometimes, plant your garden, and that's all for, to help that family, get back to their growing roots and their agricultural roots. The Oneida Nation is a farming nation, originally from New York, and we now have 3 different communities in Canada. Some stayed in New York, and as well, some made the removal to Oneida, Wisconsin. I also lead the agricultural activities at Jonhequa. We have a grass-fed beef herd that we use in coincide with our white corn growing. So we follow actually that we follow that cattle with our white corn growing that gives us the opportunity to not put many inputs into the soil. When we follow the cattle with our white corn, which is our #1 crop that we grow on the reservation, it allows us to stay certified organic and to pay very minimal prices for different sorts of inputs in our growing system. One of the things that we specify in and what we're really good at is our food system. We call it the Oneida Community Integrated Food System. So that ties in. We've been doing that for over 35 years on the Oneida Reservation in Wisconsin, and that ties in all of our different food systems that the Oneida tribe participates in, whether it's our big conventional farm, where we farm 15,000 acres. We have buffalo. We have 36 different varieties of apples. So we have a 86-acre apple orchard, as well as our Junhequa farm, our certified organic farm, which I lead, our emergency pantry, our regular pantry. All these things coincide with our with what we call OSIFs, our Oneida Community Integrated Food System. So I lead all those things, and one thing that I am near and dear to me are traditional seeds. So I co-founded with other members from Michigan, Iowa, Minnesota, and the upper Michigan area, in the protection of our indigenous seeds. Right now, I hold, or I should say we hold, 80 different types of seeds, anywhere from 5 years old to 200 years old, and they all germinate. They've all cultivated within the last couple of years. So we're very proud of that. And we believe that all those seeds, have a spirit and that they need special protection. And that's what we call, food sovereignty and food security. So we believe that, that they need to be looked after, and that it's our responsibility to do that. So that is all I have. And once again, Kyle Wisneski from Junhequa, Oneida Nation. And we'll take questions at the end. Okay, thank you.
Well, I'll go ahead and get started. My name is Cheryl Trask, an OCO. Good afternoon. I am with Cherokee Nation Culture Tourism. Before I get started, I'd like to share with you the financial about our story, where our finances come from, where our money comes from, and how we invest it. So with that said, I'd like to say Cherokee Nation is the largest tribal government in the United States with over 350,000 citizens. Cherokee Nation and its businesses make an annual economic impact in northeastern Oklahoma of $2 billion. That's huge. How this is invested is 63% of the money is invested in Cherokee businesses for creating jobs, industries, training, and educating Cherokee people for these jobs. 37% of this is invested in Cherokee programs and services. Those services are education, housing, and health. Cherokee Nation shares the vision in achieving and maintaining and enriching cultural identity, economic self-reliance, and a strong tribal government. Go up or down, like it, down. And now I'll go ahead. Whoa, we've got to go back up. There we go. Back down. All of us is real familiar with the gaming industry, so this is where the majority or a large part of our our monies come from. In 2004, the Oklahoma federally recognized tribes entered into its first gaming compact with the state of Oklahoma. The Cherokee Nation Business Hospitality Division operates through its primary company, Cherokee Nation Entertainment, one of the largest and most successful tribal businesses in the country. As the retail, gaming, and entertainment entities of Cherokee Nation, it manages 10 casinos, restaurants, entertainment venues, hotels and conference centers, horse race track and RV campgrounds, retail shops and fuel and convenience stores, golf courses, cultural tourism programs, welcome centers, and Cherokee Nation museums. So right now I'd like to share with you a small part of Cherokee Nation cultural tourism programs that we're exhibiting for this year. The 1843 Cherokee Peace Council exhibit. That exhibit started in June the 15th through November 21st at the Cherokee National Supreme Court Museum. Cherokee Prison Post-Statehood exhibit. This started July 13th and will end January 31st of 2019. And you can see this exhibit at the Cherokee National Prison Museum. The Letters of John Ross exhibit. This exhibit started May the 4th and will end December 29th at the John Ross Museum. The SALTWORKS of Sequoia exhibit. This exhibit opens August the 3rd and ends January 31st at Sequoia's Cabin Museum. And for more information on our cultural tourism program, you can always go to visitcherokenation.com. Thank you. Woodrow.
Hey everyone, my name is Gilbert Johnston. I'm here to represent the Quapaw Tribe and Downstream Casino. And what we do, and the Downstream Casino has just celebrated their 10th anniversary. And we really set in the corners of 3 states, Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. So our greenhouses that we're going to be talking about grow herbs, vegetables for our chefs to use in the restaurants and to prepare for our guests that come to stay in our hotel. But we really are trying to be a self-sustainable, which we really are, facility. We have beef processing plant, and we tour up to 1,200 to 1,500 people a year. They come from all over the United States. A lot of culinary students, universities, charter buses in to see what we do at the facility. Our greenhouses we put together 6 years ago. It's growing very rapidly. The future looks very, very grand. And our chairman's vision is to give back. We don't only look at it as a casino. Our vision is to help the communities in the entire area. There's a super fund. Our community area, our greenhouse is set on a clean area, and the casino, it's all clean and nothing ever was polluted. But we have something called the Super Fund, and as you know, the government bought out a lot of properties and that were polluted probably 80 years ago, and there are no homes there. But the Super Fund, which the Quapaw Tribe, our chairman always has a vision of well, he's normally in Washington talking about the Quapaw Tribe and getting grants and doing things like that to clean up the area that we live that was destroyed many years ago. And those areas are being covered over and cleaned up by the Quapaw Tribe, and marshlands are being planted and cleaned up. So we are just replenishing the earth. The Quapaws are just replenishing and revitalizing, so there's no pollution in those areas. But what we do, we give back to the communities. We have a learning center there on the property. There at the casino and the hotel, we have 1,500 employees that the chairman works hard for, and we have 37 acres there that we take care of, grow vegetables and herbs. The chefs come out in the morning and tell us what they're going to cook for the day for our guests that stay there in the hotels, and we cut the bundles of herbs and we take them into the chefs. So if you're there on the property, if you're staying there in our hotel, enjoying the casino, the hotel, the pools, the whatever, the tours, we have honey tastings, we have honeybees. We have a lot to see there at Downstream. You're going to eat our beef, our buffalo, our whatever, our herbs, our vegetables. We have a lot to enjoy. So people come from all 3 states, all 4 states, really, Arkansas involved. You can get in 3 states in 10 seconds. It don't take long. I mean, we're that close. You can go to Arkansas in 20 minutes from there, so 4 states. So we're really happy with what we're doing. The future looks really, really promising. We're just really proud. I'm here to represent the Quapaw Tribe. I'm proud to be a part of what I'm getting to do, and we're just here to spread the word, and glad that we have a chairman that spreads the word for us, comes to Washington. I'm surprised he's not here today, and we're just grateful for everyone. I love to hear what everyone else does. We have a lot of young people from your tribes that come to us and see what we're doing to take back part of who we are back to your tribes. So it makes us feel great that you come to visit us. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Well, I think this is a great opportunity for us to learn what is going on in Indian country. You know, what great opportunities that there are. You know, we listen to these, you know, you can tell there's passionate voices coming from these people that are get to talk about their tribe and what they're doing. So I do have a couple questions that I'm curious to know. And because I did hear it coming from some of your heart, I mean, from the heart, you can feel it. What prompted you to begin this great effort or movement, whether it was the seeds, the economic opportunities that are going on, but what prompted you to begin this for your community? We'll go ahead and start off with Gilbert.
Ours is just to start giving back and teaching the young and about planting, gardening, and I think a lot of education to let the young to start preparing for the future, to teach people's children where vegetables come from, how to eat healthy. It seems to have been lost, and to take time to learn about what they're eating, to eat more healthy, to use their minds on something else that's more important, that maybe just sitting in the house, go outside and plant a garden, be happy with outdoors, not just staying inside. We have the Learning Center. Most people there at with the tribe, and there are tribal people and non-tribal people there at Downstream, and the Learning Center is someplace that they take their kids. It's like a daycare center. We call it Learning Center because there's a few ages that go there, but they also have the monthly visit at the greenhouses, and we always have a project for them to do. So it's a learning project that they come here, and we always have something set up to where it's a gardening project where they can plant seeds that they can take back with them, that they can take home and nourish that plant or whatever. But it's a learning process, and we all enjoy it. We look forward to it. So we just enjoy what we do. My crew really enjoys gardening, and we just love to talk about it and get the word out.
Okay. Cheryl.
Well, I'm with Cherokee Nation Culture Tourism, so it was really important for me to make sure that we tell the correct story. You know, there are so many stories out there. Of course, it's the Trail of Tears, but it was so important for me to make sure that in the department that I am in, our research goes very detailed, so therefore that we can not just educate, but that we're actually telling the correct story. And something else too is it was a legacy for my children. That's important to me.
Kyle, the seeds.
Yes, the seeds. I have two things that actually prompted me to start my program in the community. The love for a seed. I seen our own people destroy our lands. You know, we've had, like I said, we have a conventional farm that they farm. You know, nearly 15,000 acres, and we are not in competition with them, but we are still trying to teach them. You know, they use all conventional techniques and conventional methods with chemicals and pesticides, and then you have us on the other side of the farm at Junhequa using traditional and indigenous methods. So that, you know, prompted me, you know, to get active, you know, in the community. And then another reason why, near and dear to me, is the devastation of diabetes in our indigenous communities. My grandpa was the first Native American in Oneida, Wisconsin, to have a dialysis machine right at home. So I remember as a young boy seeing my grandpa, you know, have his feet cut off, you know, and things like that. Bad storms would come through and knock out that dialysis machine, and he would be sitting there suffering, you know. So that was a big reason why I've got into the profession that I have, and why I'm so active in pursuing safe environments for our people.
You know, I think the planting of the seed is actually kind of a neat metaphor for what we're trying to do with Indian country, and they're examples of, you know, of how growing their economic development is one thing. But you know, looking at those, and thank you all, by the way, for coming and listening to these panels. But what do you want the visiting public to take away from your presentation today? If they could take away anything, what is it that you want them to take away? Gilbert.
I would like for them to be able to take away that it's just not all hustle and bustle everywhere, that there are places that are calming and that people can go and visit, that are you can relieve stress and calm yourself, and there is still peace to be seen in America, and we just need more peace and calming in our nation.
Cheryl.
Okay, I think visitors coming to Cherokee Nation in Tahlequah to see all the cultural museums, that what we've developed, our education programs that are there, our museums that we have, our historical buildings that we preserve those buildings. They're the actual historical buildings of the 1800s. So now people can actually go into those buildings, which is the Supreme Court, a prison. Everyone loves a prison. And you can actually see how the Cherokees lived in the 1800s. So sharing our culture and bringing people there for the education.
And Kyle.
So I would like people to know that your food is medicine. We are at a museum right now, but I'd like people to know that the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin is still here. We are still here. We are proud. We're progressive. We're a powerful nation, a sovereign nation, and that your food is your medicine. What you put in your body is what you become, and that should be important to you. And I always say that. How can you claim a sovereign nation if you cannot even produce your own foods and save your own seed with food security and food sovereignty? So those are some near and dear items to me.
Well, these three panelists have shared with you some of the successes that they have had. And yet we are Indian country. We're actually just beginning. So of the three of you, that if you could share with us, what are your plans to expand even more on your growing success, and what other activities do you see in the near future? Gilbert.
We plan on maybe using more of a natural, expanding our candle, beeswax candles, using our honey in more ways, our natural honey that we produce, and maybe the goat milk, and maybe make soap, and different ways, just more natural ways to use that. And we have a greenhouse that we just put up that I hope to use maybe to expand in the future into aquaponics, and maybe to venture into that more of a natural way. So I'm excited about that, and I hope this fall we start putting that together. I'm pretty sure we're going to start putting that together this fall, so the future looks bright. So I'm excited. I have an excited crew, a very ambitious crew. So we're excited about the future. Quapaw Tribe is excited about the future. So it's ahead of us.
And Cheryl shared with us the diversity that Cherokee has. So what kind of new things do you see in the horizon for the Cherokee?
Diversity is a major part of our mission. On the business side, it is the government contracts. It is also IT. We are in, I think, 29 different states as far as our business side, which this makes us more sound, more, like you said, more of toward a sovereign country. It's important to us because of our health care for our nation. We are in the process of right now of building the largest Native American hospital in the United States. So we have probably clinics in every one of our 14 counties. Education that is so major to our tribe. So it's not just from the cultural side, which is where I'm at. There's the Cherokee Nation business side to help us stay sound. So they work together. The funding helps us because we tend to spend a lot of money in my department on our historical sites and our education. So it's a win-win if we have all the components working together. So thank you.
And Kyle came in and he was talking about the seeds for those who may be listening up above and around. And Kyle, I kind of want to know, what do you, I mean, I think you're really at a movement. You're in a very, very growing movement. What do you see?
We see indigenous seed all over the reservation. You know, no more GMO. We control less than half of our 65,000 acre reservation. We are a checkerboard reservation, so we are in constant competition with non-indigenous farmers. So I believe that it's our job as Onondaga people to educate them, you know, and to get some of our indigenous seeds onto their farms. I think it's important, and I think that they could learn a lot from that, you know, knowing that that seed in itself has a spirit, just like you and I, and that it needs to be cultivated and cared for, and that they could grow, you know, just by growing that seed, I think that they could, you know, prosper. And as well as one thing that we are also working on is our egg tourism. Within the last 5 years, we have took off in agriculture tourism, letting people know that the Oneida Nation was and always will be an agricultural society. Our traditional heirloom flint white corn has been with us since day one, since time immemorial, and it's not going anywhere. So we would like to share that, you know, share that white corn seed, share some of our seed with all of you. And then another thing that we are working on is we are certified organic farm. We've been certified organic for nearly 30 years with the certification of OCIA, which is a federal program. I'm working on now for the last year and a half to create our own certification. So I would continue to go on to different reservations in the United States, and we would certify you instead of the federal government or a state agency. We feel that, you know, with our 30 plus years of experience and organic certification, that it's our time, it's the Oneida Nation's time to lead and help those other tribes that can't get through the 150 pages of paperwork to become certified organic, or all the money that it costs to bring a certifier out to your farm. So we would want to do that for you. And we feel that it's our time as the Oneida Nation to, with 30 plus years, you know, like I said, of experience, we need to share. You know, it's not about holding that information, but it's important to share.
You know, I just think this is just, to me, I'm the executive director for the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association, and to hear these great things that are coming out now is really, to me, good news for Indian country, not just Indian country, but pretty much everyone who's actually eating off the shelves and being affected by the economic impact from your neighbor. What I'd like to know, and I'm sure everybody may want to know, is what is it now you can do this? I mean, why? I mean, what? If you look at what you can do now, what was causing you to not be able to do it before now? And Kyle, we'll work this way and for the next few questions. Kyle, I'd like to go ahead and kind of let us know what your barriers were and what changed. What changed? What caused the pendulum to swing a little bit in your way?
I think a lot of the barriers for Oneida, Wisconsin, was the forest removal. You know, from New York, our homeland, our home fields. During the Revolutionary War, you know, all of our villages, our thousands of acres of orchards, our thousands of acres of white corn and other types of corns were all destroyed. You know, all those seeds were lost. So when we came to Wisconsin in 1822, we came without any of that. We came to a foreign land. We were on borrowed land from the Menominee Nation. It is their homeland. And I think that was a big, you know, a very large thing for us to try to compete with. You know, we lost our language during that removal. We lost our seeds. We lost our way of life. So the first initial people that came to Wisconsin in 1822 was the Pagan Party. traditional people from New York didn't arrive in Wisconsin until around 1825, 3 years after the forced removal. So I guess, you know, I want to say, but maybe the Oneidas of Wisconsin may be the leaders of the assimilation, you know, and we want to work hard to reverse that.
Excellent, excellent response. Cheryl.
Well, I'm the same as the Oneida, the Cherokee Nation, if we want to go back to Trail of Tears, to present time. That was a force of removal from our homeland. So it was, we had to start completely over in an area that we were not even familiar with. It was, you know, the desolate Midwest. No one wanted to be there. But the Cherokee Nation, they survived. And so in bringing it into today's, where we're at today, of course, it's all about funding. The more funding we all receive, and we're pretty blessed that the compact was started between the state of Oklahoma and the Native American tribes. So therefore, that revenue allowed us to create the business side for Cherokee Nation. So you have the government and you have the business side. So therefore, especially in the department I'm in, that the museums, those buildings, the historical buildings can cost millions of dollars to restore, so we can make sure that we tell our story. We don't lose that. It helps us to create that language, teach the language. So our stories are so familiar and similar in lots of ways. So,
thanks, Cheryl. Gilbert.
I'm just for educating as many people and young people as we possibly can about growing the vegetables and the seeds and the self-sustained part of it and the organic part of it and the natural growing seeds. Even if it isn't 100% organic, it can be as natural as we possibly can. And the seed savers, and I'm all about the saving the seeds and teaching how to save the seeds and buying from one another, trading from one another. If the tribes can trade rather than buy, let's trade from one another. That's what it's all about. Show people that we can survive trading from one another. We don't have to buy from overseas to get it. We can get it from one another. Let's keep it within our nation. And that's my point.
You know, these are great stories. How many of you out there have heard these stories? Not everybody. So that means there's some untold stories that visitors are learning and hearing about. And that itself, I think, is one thing that we're able to do that we were not or we didn't do before, and that we are doing now. And I'm going to put my little tourism hat on, because that is, you know, one of the things that IANTA does, the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism does, is promote the story coming from the tribes themselves, expressing who they are, where they come from, what they do, from their own book of knowledge. So my question is for you is, what have tourists visiting your community enjoyed and found memorable or even remarkable? So for the visitors that came to see you and that may have filled in a comment card, what are they saying about your community? Kyle. Sorry, I was looking at Gil. I'm tricking you.
A very strong, sovereign nation. I think they look at our food system. That's been going on for 30 plus years, and they're in awe. It's an absolute sustainable way of life. We have very little tribal contribution. We do go after a few grants. We don't depend on that. And I think that leaves people in awe, is that we have a complete food system. From seed library is what I call it. Some people call them seed banks. I call them seed libraries. From putting that seed into the ground to hand harvesting and saving that seed and eating it. That's a very important part as well. We hold community events weekly, daily, monthly, and I think tourists to our particular reservation are in awe of how complete our food system is.
Cheryl.
I think people that visit with us there in Cherokee Nation, I think language. I think I hear more people did not realize that the Cherokee people had its own language, which was developed by Sequoia. I think that is something that they go away with, that not all tribes were the same as well. Not all tribes lived in a teepee, that there are Native Americans that actually lived in homes, adobe homes. I think that is something, because we have a living village that whenever you come to visit, I think that sharing that lifestyle and that time period, that historical time, that they realize that the living and culture of all tribes were very different, but very similar, and our stories are similar as well. So I think it's just given the correct, history and culture, and to people that are really wanting to know our stories, and for all three of us. So I think that's what the visitors take away from when they visit us.
I think a lot of people that come to visit us, and people within the community, which there are a lot of them that come to visit us, don't realize that the Quapaw tribe really are in the background of a lot of community donations that they don't realize. The Quapaw tribe donates thousands of pounds of beef to the needy schools and elder centers and canned goods. There's just a lot of donations that are gladly given by the Quapaw tribe that people don't realize, but from the Quapaw hearts, it's gladly given, but it's silent. Nobody knows. It's not given for any reason, just to be helpful. And we donate many floral arrangements to needy people that it brightens in the hospitals and nursing homes and things like that. We don't want to be recognized for it. We just want to make smiles on people's faces. We're not there just for the casino reason. We're there to make people happy. We want, we don't always want recognition, and a lot of people, the Quapaw tribe is there, and the Quapaw tribe is pushing forward, and they're going to continue to grow and be happy, and I'm proud to be a part of it, and we have a bright future, and I can't wait for the next 10 years to see what's going to happen. So our community, with the 1,200 people that tour every year, I hope it's 2,000 people next year. So, yeah.
Cheryl, you had one more.
I do. I just want to say one thing. We're Quapaw tribe and the Cherokee tribe are our counties or our territories are right there together. So I just want to kind of say a little more about what you were talking about, how much we give back to our communities. I know that I had mentioned about the gaming compact in Oklahoma, how it did change the lives for our tribes. But the one thing that I didn't say is that every quarter, every tribe in Oklahoma is required by the compact to give a dollar percentage back to the state of Oklahoma for education in Oklahoma. So we are giving back to our communities. We also give back to the state of Oklahoma with that agreement of that compact. So
Okay.
I thought that was important that everyone knows that as well.
I think this group has a lot of information that they want to share with you, and I think each one of those communities are unique in their own sense, and what they do is very unique. And they are wanting to share. To help the listeners out here, how can they find you? I mean, where do they look? Where are they learning more about you? So if you want to share, how can I find out more about you?
Come by our booth over there and pick up a brochure. Google us on Google if you can have a machine to do that with, or a computer. A horticulture department, Quapaw Tribe, Downstream Casino. I'm not plugging the casino, although that's where it started. It'll put up videos. There's a lot of cool videos to watch. Kind of shows you how it started and who had the ambition and the energy to make it start, who does all the running for us and gives us the opportunity to run with our dreams. You'll see that part of it. But just to Google and get our information, and just push in horticulture, and it's probably going to pull us up. You're going to see our coffee company, and it's really informative, and to see how the Quapaw tribe has grown in the last 20 years. Anyway, the Quapaw tribe's name has really grown in the last few years, and you'll see the reason why when you Google us and see how people have worked for that name. Thank you.
Cheryl, how can I find you? And what are you doing? And all the fun things that are going on.
We're doing a lot for all across the board. Our business side, you can always just put in Cherokee Nation businesses. You can see all the industries that we're investing in, all the programs. You can put in Cherokee.org or CherokeeNation.org, and that is our nation, our administrative site. You can see all of our language classes, our housing programs, our language programs, education programs, and then of course our tourism program, which is dear to my heart. So you can go on visit CherokeeNation.com, and those are probably the three main sites that you can go to as far as learning information about us.
Kyle, I want to watch you grow. From seed up.
So I think it's important to know that there are three different Oneida communities, and that I represent the Oneidas of Wisconsin. There's also respected Oneida, New York, and also a community in Canada. So it's important to know who you're looking for. You can find us at www.oneidanation.org. We have countless volunteer opportunities. We have over 3,000 jobs on the reservation. We have a job for you. So you can come on out, to the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin. We have an annual harvest and husking bee, where we have over 1,000 people that come out and help us with that particular event. Just countless number of different opportunities to help out on the farm.
Well, we've had the great opportunity to sit here and ask. I've had the opportunity to sit here and ask Kyle Wisneski from Oneida Nation of Wisconsin, Cheryl Trask from Cherokee Nation Tourism, and Gilbert Johnston from Quapaw Tribe of Oklahoma. And what I would like to, I know that you must have a question or two. So this is an opportunity, there's a mic up here, to come on up and ask your question that you might have. And if you don't have a question, if you have a question, I will give you a luggage tag that you can have personalized over there at the IANTA booth. And by the way, you can find these folks, or if you can't right now, but you will soon, on the native-only nativeamerica.travel website geared for the Native Americans of the USA. So that's another way you can find out. I know Cherokee's on there for sure. But if there are any other questions that anybody may have, I'll be more than happy to bring the mic to you if you don't want to come up to it.
My question is for Cheryl. I was curious to know what your general demographic is for tourism within the Cherokee Nation, and also what your new target audience is for tourism, getting tourism.
Okay, for our tourism, our demographics, we always look at, you know, what is your, the hour drive. It depends on if it's more of a social or if it's an actual group business. We have ventured into the international market and will continue to do that as well. Of course, we're part of IANTA, so we're supporting that, tourism part for groups. We look for at least a 300-mile radius, probably, within tour groups. We look for that overnight business as well. In the tourism side, of course, we're not looking for that hotel motel tax. We're looking to bring them there for 2 or 3 days. So, of course, we're wanting to bring them to Tahlequah. On the social side, we're looking for that day trip for families to come and visit. We also have a program as well. The way that the economy is and try to help families visit, we have a program called the Passport. And that entitles a family to be able to pay $15 an individual. Children get in free, and they can visit all 5 of our museums. So it's both ways. It's a social, and also we look at it for operator tour group business.
My question's kind of for all 3 of you, and I was curious about the children and the youth in your communities. Are they engaged with these agricultural and cultural tourism initiatives, or is it something your generation is leading? And if they're not engaged, are you worried about it, and do you have ideas? Thanks.
We're very happy with our youth participation. Our booth is directly behind you guys sitting there. The one picture that you can see that hovers over us is of youth at our harvest and husking bee. They help us pick our corn. We have education days, 5 days of education days where we have over 600 students come in from the surrounding communities, and as well the tribal schools come in after that. So a total of about 750 youth for that one event. As well as that, we have our cultural heritage department, our language department, and our Oneida Museum are on a fast track to bring our youth up to speed. I have no worries about our youth. They're much further along than when I was their age. And they have a lot of things that they can look forward to that we didn't have, that I didn't have, which just wasn't too long ago, 15 years ago. So I'm very excited for our youth. Their language, their culture, their ceremonies, the ceremonies that they follow are far above and beyond what I had when I was younger. So we're very excited about the youth and their opportunity in our community.
We normally try to encourage field trips between the 4th grade and the 12th grade. And we get quite a few from the surrounding communities and the 3 states. And they love the greenhouse tours. We love to have the seed plantings, and then they tour the gardens and they pick corn or whatever we have ready at that time of the year, and they just truly enjoy it. They tour inside. We have a lot of plants inside, and tropical plants and orchids and things like that. So there's something for everyone at Downstream. There truly is, and we just enjoy having them. They call and make tour reservations, and then they come in on their school buses, and we really enjoy having them.
Our youth program, our education, as far as for tourism, and our sales manager is here as well. She works with all of our tours. We every spring and fall we have a grant for our education groups, and we have around 2,000 children come visit our museums and our sites there in Tahlequah. So we promote education, our education tours strongly.
I'm from New York, Brooklyn, and we don't really learn a lot about the American Indian lifestyle. So with that being said, I'd like to know, how would you continue to spread these messages that you're spreading here right now? And that's a question for anyone who feels compelled to answer.
I think it's important to follow your ceremonies. That's one way how we live our daily lives. That's how we feed ourselves. A lot of our ceremonies follow the cycles of food. So with keeping with food, those ceremonies and that culture will never be gone. So we do those things daily. We're very unique in that way. But as long as there's food, as long as there's seeds, and as long as there's agriculture, horticulture, and things like that, and as long as we follow the cycles of the season, which in turn, those are our ceremonies, that's how we keep that preserved.
No matter where you live, you can grow your food, whether it be in containers or whatever. There's some way to do that. And whatever culture you are, there's always some food or vegetables or something that you can enjoy and implement into your lifestyle. And Google, YouTube on what you might like to start to enjoy, and the Native American food and seeds can be used in any culture, and that's what we do. Is for everyone, so it's fun. I have a lot of container plants on my patio, and planted everywhere, so just enjoy. Normally, it's all about food, no matter what.
I wasn't here earlier, so I wasn't sure if you explained what happened to Native people to allow them to be in Wisconsin, in New York, and Canada. So can you elaborate on that for me?
I'll try my best. It's a great question. The Oneida Nation homeland is Western New York. We are also part of what a lot of people know as the Iroquois Confederacy. We call ourselves the Haudenosaunee. Iroquois comes from the French. They could not pronounce some of our words. So Iroquoian, Iroquois, if you hear that term, that comes from the French people. We call ourselves Haudenosaunee. We're part of the very powerful confederacy, which consists of the Seneca Nation, Onondaga, Tuscarora, Mohawk, Seneca, and Oneida. I guess basically 1776, the year before Revolutionary War started, the Oneidas had become the United States' first ally. We had sided with the United States. Our brothers, sisters, aunts, and the rest of those nations, those are our brothers, our sisters, our aunts, grandpas, grandmas. We sided with the United States, they sided with the British. So we were fighting our aunts and uncles, cousins and brothers. When that war ended, consequently, we feel we had saved George Washington's army at Valley Forge. We have brought, as you can see, we have white corn on our table at our booth. That is the same white corn seed that was brought to Valley Forge in 1777. We left a lady back there named Polly Cooper to teach the people, the soldiers, and things, how to prepare that food. And to this day, we still have shawls and things from Martha Washington thanking the Oneida people. We still get an annual annuity from the federal government for that aid to this day. And I think that Revolutionary War, besides illegal treaties with the state of New York, as a sovereign nation, we were only able to come into an agreement or a treaty with the federal government through many different treaties with the state of New York. Basically took our land base away. So it was either thousands of people survive on a mile square acre or be removed. So our removal was in Canada. We still have family and a bunch of family and friends in Canada. And then our removal actually took us to Kansas first. We were then removed from Kansas up to the lands of the Menominee.
I have one question. Do you guys still utilize your elders? And what are you doing to plan for sustainability for your knowledge once our elders have passed on?
Cherokee Nation has a very large language department, and our elders, our language is something that we're embracing and have for as long as I have been employed there for 14 years. It's very important. Our elders at one time didn't want to speak the language and share that, so right now we have a very large department that we're educating, and we also have a school for our elementary that it is, the children there speak nothing but Cherokee from the time that they walk in the door till the time that they leave. So this is very important to us to gain that back. That's very solid to us, and we'll continue moving forward with that.
Yes, we have a large challenge with our elder community. We have minimal speakers. We lose speakers every day. We're down to under 10 speakers that can use the language in their daily life. So our language immersion program with our elders has taken front stage. You can't be anywhere without your elders. So I was unfortunate. I lost a couple of my elders, my full-blooded grandpa, and I also lost a grandma. So we, those things you gotta continue to work through, and you gotta find new elders to learn from. A lot of our seeds that are on the table over there had come from community elders. So we would bring them to Joanhequa, our farm, sit them down, and just talk with them. And I think that's important. We don't need programs. We don't need money. We don't need any of that type of stuff. All you need is time. You know, if you can just spend time with an elder to figure out where that seed came from or where that food came from and why they did it. But just as important as the seed, we believe, is the story that goes with it. So the elders hold those stories, and it's our job, like Cheryl said, it's important to share, you know, and those elders hold a lot of things, and sometimes they don't want to share them. You know, they've been through a lot of turmoil, they've been through a lot of shock in their life, and they were told not to speak the language, not to share that knowledge, not to share the seeds and things like that. So today's a different day. We're going to try to reverse that in our territory, and the elders are held at the highest level.
So the Quapaw Tribe has provided for their elders. There has been a lot of pottery unearthed downstream at the edge of the river, and there is a display of pottery at downstream that the Quapaw Tribe made many, many years ago. So the Quapaw Tribe, for the elders and the young, a place to make pottery in today's world for the elders. So they get to make their own pottery. They're recreating in today's time. There also is an elder center that have their own gardens. So any of the elders that want to go work in the gardens, plant seeds, any of that they're welcome to go there anytime and work in the gardens. There are museums. There are places for the elders to go eat, the Quapaw Tribe. They're welcome there to eat a meal every day. They deliver many, many hundreds of meals every day to the elders. And it's just amazing what they do, the Quapaw Tribe. Again, a lot of people don't know what they do, but they take care of their elders and the young that are coming on, and the preserving what they do, and then creating, like I spoke of the pottery that will be here thousands of years, that will be unearthed thousands of years from now, hundreds of years from now. So it's just unique, and they're always giving back. They're known for giving back, and it's just a vision, and we just keep going and giving back.
Is there any more questions? Well, with that, I'd like to thank you for your work that you're doing on behalf of Indian country, and actually for everyone. Glachchish, which is thank you in my language. I am Tlingit from Alaska, and I look forward to chatting with you one-on-one throughout this week. Great. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming and joining with us.